Tonight on 19 Investigates, a 911 call leads to a police officer's arrest while her 3 kids are waiting in the car. We have exclusive video that takes you inside the investigation. Plus, the shocking discovery that also landed her ex-husband in handcuffs. An urgent winter warning from firefighters. Find out why they're sounding the alarm about more people staying indoors as the temperatures plummet. And frustrations over stalled car repairs. Cars sitting in the shop for months while mechanics wait for back-ordered parts. We'll tell you what experts say you should do right away if you end up in this situation. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Duffy. 3 young children at the center of 2 arrests in one day. This happened after investigators say their mother, a police officer, threatened people, and then their father showed up drunk to pick them up with loaded guns in his SUV. Investigator Sarah Goldenberg has exclusive police video showing us how one arrest led to another.
Police officers respond to 911 calls all the time, but this time, an officer became the subject of one. December 28, 2025, in an apartment complex in Solon, police respond to a report of threats.
She was banging on the window, boom, 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 boom.
Officers spoke to the man who called and his 2 roommates. Summer Davis, the woman they say threatened them, had already driven away. Solon police discovered Davis works as a Richmond Heights police officer, and she was looking for her ex-boyfriend, who lived in the apartment with 2 roommates, including this woman.
She said she needed to talk to him about something, and she was just gonna leave him.
They exchanged words, and she told police Davis got into her car with one of her children inside.
She had her window down, yelled, "I'll shoot you." Kept going.
Police contacted Davis, and she then drove to the police station to make a statement. She said when she found out her ex-boyfriend wasn't at the apartment, she headed back to her car, and one roommate followed her.
So she started running to my car like she was going to try to attack me or something. So I started driving off, and she started running after my car. I had my son in the back seat, so I just left.
Davis claimed her ex-boyfriend had been spreading lies about her, but he told police, according to the report, she called him about 30 times before the incident. Officers reviewed messages from his cell phone showing Davis had repeatedly tried to contact him, saying the matter was urgent.
That's all I was trying to do, was get the message to him to leave me alone.
At any point, would there be any reason for anybody in that apartment to believe that there was a gun?
No, I did not have a gun on me. I did not.
Solon police contacted Richmond Heights police, telling them Davis had been charged with aggravated menacing. Meanwhile, Davis's 3 children were in her car in the parking lot, and the father of the kids, Harold Jenkins Jr., came to pick them up. Body cameras from 2 officers captured what happened next. This officer said Jenkins hopped the curb in his SUV as he tried to drive off with the kids.
What are you doing, man? Out of the car. What up? You've been drinking, correct?
No, sir.
Okay, well, my sergeant here says that you're intoxicated and that you just hopped in the car and you were driving away.
Intoxicated, officer. Yes, you're showing your words and research alcohol. I'm from the South, officer. But I don't.
They ask him if he has any weapons.
I actually got a weapon in the car.
You do? Where?
What? Keep telling me.
It's okay, guys. Where's it at, dude?
Jenkins tells him it's in the back. The officer opens the trunk and finds a duffel bag with a loaded 9mm pistol, according to the police report. But then he finds another gun too.
Dude, there's a rifle right by the kids.
He checks the middle row, finding it on the floor.
Hey, buddy. It's okay. Can you come out real quick? Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Then pulls a loaded rifle out of the SUV.
This is really literally within arm's reach of the kids. It's not even on safe. It's on semi.
Then Jenkins failed a sobriety test.
2, 3, 4, 5.
And officers arrest him.
Put your hands by your back for me, okay?
Oh my God, I failed.
A grand jury charged Jenkins with 3 counts of endangering children, OVI, and improperly handling weapons in a vehicle. 19 Investigates found in court documents he was arrested with the same gun, that pistol, back in 2023 during a domestic violence incident. But the weapons charge was later dismissed as a part of a plea agreement.
Jenkins is set to be arraigned on the new charges Wednesday. Davis pleaded not guilty and will be in court next week. Records from the Ohio Attorney General's office show she is still a police officer with Richmond Heights Police. Davis had only been on the job for 4 months before this arrest last December. Police reported both incidents to Children and Family Services. In the end, Solon officers said 3 young children were put at risk.
Dude, unreal. Loaded with the safety off, one in the chamber right next to the kid.
Sarah Goldenberg, 19 News.
19 Investigates reached out to both attorneys. Harold Jenkins' attorney declined to comment. Summer Davis's attorney sent us a statement saying Summer Davis denies these allegations and they're confident the truth will come out in court. He argued, quote, "This is a malicious, fabricated accusation that we believe was orchestrated by her ex-boyfriend to damage her reputation and weaponize the criminal process. What's equally unacceptable is how Solon police handled it. They contacted Ms. Davis, expressly advised she was not under arrest, and asked her to come in, framing it as a matter of professional courtesy because she is a police officer. Ms. Davis notified them that she would have her children with her at the time of her arrival. Solon PD then arrested her the moment she finished giving her statement, leaving her frantic because her children were being left without her immediate care. That is not hearing someone out. That's a predetermined outcome." Solon Police responded saying, quote, "The court system will be the place that the Solon Police Department will present the facts that were known to the officers at the time. We trust that justice will be fairly applied." Richmond Heights Police tells us Officer Davis was placed on administrative leave immediately after her arrest. And when the criminal case wraps up, she will, quote, "have a pre-disciplinary conference on any and all department violations connected to this incident." As more people stay inside during the cold winter months, firefighters are warning people who use oxygen in their homes. They say smoking-related fires are the top cause of fire deaths in the state of Ohio. And as investigator Mike Mason reports, most of those involve oxygen.
You're watching video of a rapidly moving fire. These are white-hot flames shooting through the tubes of a home oxygen system.
That fire is going to travel down that tubing, as you saw, and it's going to light everything on fire, including their clothing.
The state fire marshal now warning anyone who smokes while using oxygen systems at home. They say 51 people in Ohio have already died in smoking-related fires since 2022. Most of those resulted from smoking next to home oxygen tanks.
It's a deadly act. We don't want people to smoke on oxygen. If they do smoke on oxygen, they have a great chance of perishing in that fire.
Anita Matheny is the chief of the State Fire Prevention Bureau. As the mercury drops, she says more people will likely stay inside to smoke. Firefighters are urging Ohioans not to light up or use any open flame anywhere around oxygen. Even though the gas itself doesn't burn, it makes fires ignite faster and burn hotter. But there's one small piece of equipment that can make a huge difference.
This device stops the flow of oxygen should that happen.
Thermal fuses can be installed on the tubing to stop the flow of oxygen when a fire is detected. They only cost a few bucks and can prevent a fire from spreading, which could potentially save a life.
There's a few different ways to get these fuses. If you're prescribed oxygen, sometimes your provider will give them to you. You can also stop by a medical supply store. They only cost a few bucks, or go to your local fire station. Sometimes they have them for free. Mike Mason, 19 News.
Imagine your car sitting in the shop for months, all because a part is on back order. One Pennsylvania driver says that's exactly what happened to him, and it left him scrambling to get around. Consumer investigator Carice Jackman explains what experts say you should do if you're stuck waiting on repairs.
For Pennsylvania resident Ed Perry, having a car is a necessity to get around his town. So when his Chevy Volt started having problems in December 2024, he says he immediately took it in for repairs.
They told me that one of the main cells in the battery pack was damaged. And they said, well, we might not get the part until the end of January.
But Perry says the date kept getting pushed back.
I kept going back, and it became the end of January, then the middle of February, then the end of February, then the middle of March, and finally the end of April.
And he says even after that, his car still wasn't ready. So Perry says he wrote letters to Chevrolet looking for answers.
And I did not get any response to that, except I had somebody from the executive office call me and said, "We have no idea of the ETA on getting that part to you."
He says the wait dragged on for months to the point his warranty was ticking down. He ended up buying another car just to get around.
That car has sit at Stocker Chevrolet from December 30th until close to the end of November, almost a whole year.
After that, Perry says he turned to Lemon Law attorneys and filed a complaint. Lemon Law attorney Robert Silverman says parts delays like this are not unusual, and your options can depend on your state, your warranty, and how long the vehicle has been out of service. He says start by asking for a clear timeline and get a repair order that documents your complaint and that the part is on order. If you're going to be without your vehicle for a while, ask for a loaner. And if the delay drags on or the same problem keeps coming back, he says do not wait too long to get help because some claims have deadlines.
You're going to wait, lose your legal rights. Instead of waiting, get compensation in case it fails again so you can trade it in with their money.
Perry says his case was settled and he eventually got his car back repaired.
We reached out to General Motors for comment. They told us any customer requiring assistance can reach out to GM Customer Care on their website. Attorneys say even if a situation does not fit your state's Lemon Law, consumers may still have warranty options, including potential rights under the federal Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, depending on the facts of the case. To learn more about your rights as a consumer when it comes to cars, scan the QR code on your screen. Download the free 19 News mobile app. Once you've downloaded the app, tap on the top stories and then select the Seen on TV tab. We've posted a link there to the Ohio Attorney General's office breakdown of the Lemon Law and other rights you have when it comes to vehicle warranties and service contracts. If you're getting calls and texts from a debt collector on your phone, how do you know if they're real or a scam? Rachel DePompa speaks with a bankruptcy attorney about how to tell if you really owe money.
These days, it's difficult to know if a real debt collector is actually contacting you. Leslie Tane, a debt relief attorney with years of experience, says there's so many robocalls and even artificial intelligence calls now, it can be confusing to know if you really do owe money. She says don't give them your social security number or bank account information. Instead, ask questions.
If somebody's contacting you and you're not sure that that's a legitimate debt collector, ask them for their information, their full name, their contact phone number, the name of their company, if they have a file number, who the original creditor was. Remember that a debt collector is often collecting on behalf of.
Tane says hang up the phone and check out the information they gave you before you call them back. Ask them to send you verifiable information in writing by U.S. mail. That way you can see if it's money you actually owe.
So it's really important more than ever to monitor your credit and verify anybody contacting you by phone, social media, somebody sending you a text message, a solicitation, anything like that. It's super important to go back and verify with that creditor.
Tane also says don't give specific information about your finances over the phone or any information about your family, your job, or where you live. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Coming up next on 19 Investigates, a firefighter's widow caught in a nightmare of paperwork. Find out how she's fighting for her late husband's health insurance and what you need to know to protect yourself if it happens to you. And could a local courthouse be closing its door for good? 1 year after 19 Investigates showed you the building falling apart, we'll tell you why the court may be moving out of the city altogether. Accidental health insurance drops are rare, but they can happen. And when they do, it can mean unexpected bills and a fight to get your policy back. Carice Jackman found a case where a fallen firefighter's kids lost their coverage. She explains what happens when insurance confusion complicates care.
Jesse and I, we met actually through the fire department. I was a volunteer EMT and he was a volunteer firefighter with Prince George's County.
A father, a husband, a firefighter. 3 roles Susie McCullough says her husband Jesse loved the most in life.
He really liked helping people.
McCullough's public service as a firefighter took a turn in 2017 when he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of colorectal cancer.
It's considered for firefighters to be a job-related cancer. And so he was diagnosed at stage 4, so he was pretty much always considered most likely terminal. And he went through several months of chemo, he had surgery, he did some radiation, and then unfortunately in October of 2018, he passed away from the cancer.
Because he died of a job-related cancer, McCullough's death was considered line of duty by the state of Maryland. For 6 years, visits and billing were taken care of as expected. Then in 2024, a strange bill came for a well child visit her daughter had in 2023.
And the bill was for over $300, and I was like, well, this is really strange. From when I was looking at the bill, it looks like just a typical well child visit. Why is this not being covered by insurance, and why am I getting this bill almost a year late?
McCullough says the county where her husband worked accidentally canceled her coverage when she changed plans.
I called the pediatrician's office first. They told me that Cigna, our health insurance, had paid the bill and then had rescinded the payment several months later. So I called Cigna, and Cigna told me that they had received notice from the HR department with Prince George's County that my daughters were no longer covered.
McCullough immediately tried to get the situation taken care of, only to end up playing the middle person between the county's HR department and her insurance company.
I'm a healthcare provider myself, and so I take very seriously the importance of having health insurance. I think, they sort of treated it as a general complaint or inquiry to HR. They said you can submit your request and it'll be processed in the order that we received it. And I said, no, but this is really important because right now my children don't have health insurance. And if something were to happen, if we were to get in a car accident tomorrow, they would not be covered.
Oh, God, it's heartbreaking.
Dr. Elizabeth Rosenthal, senior contributing editor at KFF Health News, a national newsroom that reports on how the healthcare system works.
I mean, she's the widow of a firefighter. He died of job-related causes, and she was playing referee. That's a situation that so many of our patients are stuck in.
Dr. Rosenthal knows this waiting period between accidental drops places families like McCullough's in a tough situation.
I think it's a common problem, and people make mistakes, systems make mistakes, and they should be held responsible for them, not the patient. And this wasn't a huge bill, but nonetheless it was an unfair bill and an inaccurate bill.
As for McCullough, she kept pushing for answers. Growing tired of the back and forth, she informed our partners at KFF Health News about her issue.
Then the next time I talked to Cigna, I mentioned that I had done this, and then very shortly afterwards the bill was paid.
Oh, what a coincidence.
Yeah.
Prince George's County says they are not aware of any lapse in insurance coverage and could not discuss the family's personal benefits, but remains committed to honoring the service and sacrifice of families whose loved ones died in the line of duty. And even though her issue was resolved, McCullough knows how difficult navigating insurance can be.
Thankfully, because I'm a healthcare provider, I have pretty good health literacy, and I was able to navigate all this, but it would have been really difficult to navigate if I did not have a healthcare background, or if I had difficulty reading, or if English was not my first language, or any multitude of things that would have made this impossible.
So what if something like this happens to you or your loved ones? 19's Jeff Slauson asked Carice about how to get some help.
In many situations when things like this happen, people that are watching at home are wondering, what can actually be done. So is there anything that a consumer or patient can actually do to get it resolved?
Yeah, well, one thing that we've often heard is like, that happened to me too, right? That happened to me too. So the number one piece of advice I would say is do what Susie did within our story. You know, be persistent, document, call, make sure that you're trying to get answers. So that's the number one thing experts tell us. You know, be in communication with the HR department, be in communication with your insurance company. And if you find that it's hard to do, set out a time within your day. Say 5 o'clock on a Tuesday, I am going to call this HR department. We'll call a little bit earlier because they're probably getting off, but call and make sure that you're getting the answers that you need, right? And stay with it and document everything. If you're emailing them, if there's a contact us email page, make sure that you're doing that and you're documenting what you said and when you sent it to them. So document, document, document. And then again, stay persistent when you're trying to get answers. That's the best thing that you can do, because oftentimes people just give up, right? And don't give up. Just continue to try to get answers so that you get the care that you deserve and that you pay for.
According to the U.S. Department of Health, you can appeal insurance cancellations through the company and also through your state insurance commission. Our team reached out to Cigna, which said it has 24/7 customer support for customers and that it relies on employees' HR departments for accurate eligibility information and can work with employers on any coverage disruptions. A local courthouse may soon be shutting its doors for good. This comes 1 year after 19 Investigates showed you how the building was falling apart. Investigator Mike Mason found the court may soon be moving out of the city altogether.
It's been almost exactly 1 year since 19 Investigates showed you how the Garfield Heights Municipal Courthouse was crumbling away.
You can see how rusted and corroded it is.
It was so bad last winter that Judge Deborah Nicastro almost declared it a state of emergency.
The water pours down the elevator shaft and you'll come in here and it's all flooded. It's a danger to everybody's health and safety.
Black mold has been creeping throughout the building, and water from leaking pipes has already damaged hundreds of case files. Now wheels are in motion to condemn the current courthouse.
The plan is for Newburgh to build a new building. It would be about $11 million.
Newburgh Heights was selected as the new location since it accounts for nearly 80% of the court's caseload. Nicastro says most of those cases come from traffic camera tickets.
Now, if for some reason they decide not to do traffic camera tickets anymore, Garfield Heights have the biggest percentage of cases, and it would go back to them paying for the cost of operations.
Last year, Village of Newburgh Heights council members agreed to build the new courthouse. They adopted a resolution in support of relocating it to their village. Just like Garfield Heights, it'll have jurisdiction over 8 municipalities plus metro parks. Newburgh Heights wants to build a new structure right in the center of town.
They currently have property they can build it on, but they're looking to purchase property across the street from the Village Hall on Harvard, which would be ideal because it would be right across the street from the police station.
Originally designed as a city hall, Nicastro says the old courthouse is obsolete. With an outdated layout and little security, the building is literally falling apart. Nicastro just hopes they're all able to get out before something really big happens.
The problem is when it starts heating up and the pipes start expanding again, I don't really know what's going to happen.
You think they might blow?
It could be.
The next step is for legislators to approve the move, and construction will hopefully begin sometime next year. We'll, of course, keep you posted. Mike Mason, 19 News.
According to a new Lending Tree study, childcare costs 32% more than rent for many families across this country. Consumer investigator Rachel DePompa dives into those numbers.
Lending Tree found across most of the biggest cities in America, the cost of child care for a family with 2 kids is significantly more than the cost of rent. Matt Schultz with Lending Tree says that's a major challenge for families that are already stretched thin, making ends meet and putting food on the table. Lending Tree found the average monthly cost of full-time center-based child care for 2 children across the 100 largest metros is $2,252.
And it's causing people to make sacrifices because in a lot of cases you may have one parent who wants to go back to work and build their career, and have that sort of outlet. But a lot of times when you go back to that job, all you're essentially doing in that job is putting all that money towards childcare.
Schultz says there's really nowhere in the country where childcare is inexpensive. He says it's something that young parents need to be prepared for and also start to save for almost right away.
The sooner you can start saving for the cost of childcare, the better off you'll be. I mean, obviously that's way easier said than done. And it's not like we all have a ton of expendable income to throw into savings, but the more you can save in advance, the better off you'll be.
He says especially if you can take advantage of a high-yield savings account. He says if you can shop around for your child care, price out several facilities, that will help. Also, look at the child care center's history, safety records, and look at reviews from other parents. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
The stories we showed you today are streaming now on 19 News Plus. You can download the app for free on your Apple TV, Roku, or Amazon Fire TV device. Next week on 19 Investigates, a decades-old murder, a family desperate for answers. Now, they're fighting not only for justice in their own case, but for a new way to bring attention to other unsolved killings across the state. The story coming up next week on 19 Investigates. I'm Brian Duffy. Thanks for watching.